All right, welcome everyone to our in-service video presentation here at East Western Elementary School's Professional Development Day. Today's will be about deafness because we have a new student beginning this fall named Everly. She will be in third grade general education and she is deaf. So this presentation will be about how to accommodate her deafness and make this a successful and welcoming school year for her. So just that we're all on the same page here, deafness means a hearing impairment that is so severe that the child is impaired in processing linguistic information through hearing. This is with or without amplification, and it adversely affects the child's education. So her hearing affects her education, or her lack of hearing affects her education. How are we going to accommodate her in the general education classroom? The good news is that we have an interpreter, but the rest of us still have a job to do. The interpreter cannot carry all the weight. So for teachers, don't be distracted by the interpreter and speak directly to Everly. When you lose your focus, she loses her focus because she has a lot to focus on. So just make sure you're speaking directly to your students and to her, and not looking at the interpreter to make sure they're still on the same page. She is a professional. She knows what she's doing. This one goes for everyone. Make sure written language is always accessible. If you're the librarian, what supplies will she need to check out a book? Where can she find her books? If you're the gym teacher, how can she play the game? Where are things located? If you're the music teacher, how does she play the instrument? What are the words to the song? What are the notes to the music? Things of that nature, just so that there's always written language accessible to help her succeed. If you're showing a video, use closed captioning so she can read instead of going back and forth between the screen and the interpreter. Face her when you're talking to her. If you're the teacher and you're writing on the board, whatever you're writing, she's going to be focused on. If you're talking at the same time, she won't know what you're saying because she is focused on what you're writing and not what the interpreter is signing. So do one thing at a time. Write on the board, then turn and talk so she can track both things. Make sure you use lots of visual aids to solidify what you're using in language, and then allow her to sit close to her interpreter, no matter where that is. Make sure to build a relationship. This one goes for everyone in our building. We will all come across her. We will all have to communicate with her. So we need to build a really strong relationship with her. Everly is self-conscious about her disability, and her parents are concerned that she will become too discouraged and she will want to give up. Of course, we don't want that. So we have asked her parents to keep an open line of communication, and they have agreed, and they welcome questions that anyone may have in terms of how to communicate more effectively. They want what's best for their daughter, as do we. Just remember that it is not our job to draw attention to her deafness. She knows that she is deaf, and she knows the implications of that. It's not our job to point that out any further. We are here to make her educational experience successful and welcoming, and that is it. We build that relationship, give the educational experience that she needs and deserves, and we welcome her here. We don't point out the disability factor at all, ever. I thought that learning basic sign language could help her feel more at home, so I have just a few here, like hello, goodbye, nice to meet you, yes, no, please, and thank you. Just a few. And then the alphabet, so if you don't have a sign for the word, you can spell it out. We don't recommend going beyond 6 words just because it can be really complicated and hard for her to track. If you don't learn sign language, we understand it's not that easy for everyone to pick up. But we do believe that it's important to try. If you are worried that your sign language just won't make the cut, you can write to her. Everly's parents say that they communicate through letters. She has a mailbox at her door in her house, like in her bedroom, so she gets letters that way. She's a very strong reader, so if sign language isn't an option, you can write down whatever you're trying to convey. In conclusion, statistics show that 86% of deaf students are in general education classes, and these students have higher scores than students in secluded learning environments do. So, studies are showing that the deaf students are doing better in general education. And under IDEA, it's our job to help her succeed. And if success comes in general education, then that's what we're going to make happen. We know that it's a daunting and scary process. It is for everyone, especially Everly, but we're all going to understand more about her as time goes on. We'll learn her strengths and her weaknesses, and we can go from there and build from there with her parents And as advocates for her, we will make this a successful and awesome school year for Everly. So this presentation is just the basics. So we all have a few tips and tricks to use when the school year does start, so we can make it a successful and welcoming one for Everly.